If you are preparing CSAT 2026 by solving math questions like a school student, you are preparing for the wrong exam. Let me say this very clear. 90% of aspirants will fail CSAT 2026. Not because they don't know maths, but because they are solving questions that UPSC is no longer asking. From 2014 to around 2018, UPSC tested calculation, big tables, long data interpretation sets, direct answers. But look at 2023, 2024, and 2025. That exam is gone. Today we are going to learning about data interpretation. The reality is today UPSC gives you incomplete data, hidden variables, changing bases in the questions. And one brutal question here is, can this even be solved? Can this even be solved? UPSC is not testing mathematics anymore. It is testing decision making under uncertainty, decision making under pressure, administrative thinking, and your ability to detect small errors. If you understand this video, you will stop solving CSAT like a student and start attempting it like an administrator. Close your eyes and imagine this in the exam hall reality. Minute 38 in the exam hall, you open a data interpretation question. It looks simple. You start solving, 1 minute gone, 2 minutes, and 3 minutes also gone. And suddenly you realize something. What? There is a variable missing, the data is incomplete, and the answer is cannot be determined. Your 3 minutes gone. Now understand this carefully. UPSC did not test your math ability here. Did not test maths ability. Then what it is tested here is, did you waste 3 minutes or detect the trap in 10 seconds, which is given by UPSC in the CSAT examination. That is what the thinking has to be the CSAT conqueror and administrator. That's what UPSC expect from aspirants. So this is CSAT 2026, not calculation, control. This is control. CSAT is decision system. You have to understand it. That too uncertainty, that too under pressure, decision making under pressure, decision making under uncertainty. So we are moving to the three deadly traps as far as DI is concerned. that is data interpretation. The first and foremost trap is here the ghost variable. What is the ghost variable? You see a variable, you assume it matters, you start solving, but the truth is it cancels out. It never mattered. It was placed to waste your time. The rule here is if you are solving for something, ask yourselves, do I actually need this or not? This is called as ghost variable. Then we are moving to the trap number 2, that is the moving base. What is the moving base here? The value increased by 50%, then decreased by 50%. Like this. This is the question. Most aspirants say back to original. That is wrong because the base changed. When the value increased by 50%, let's say that is 100, increased by 50%, it becomes 150, then decreased by 50%. Here the base is 150, not 100. You have to decrease it from 150, not 100. That is the thing you have to understand here. The base has changed here. The second 50% is on a smaller number. Every time you see percentage change, ask yourself, what is the base here? Repeat this in your head. What is the base? What is the base? And what is the base? This is regarding moving base trap. And the final trap here is the seesaw system. What is the seesaw system? Let's say take one example. Price goes up, consumption must go down. If price 11 by 10, then consumption automatically 10 by 11. This is the inverse relationship in the seesaw question, seesaw system. So stop calculating. You have to understand the system behind the question. Start balancing. Then we are moving to the important part, that is the 5 pillar systems. What is the 5 pillar system and what is the need here? If you want to survive 2026 CSAT, you must rebuild your brain on these 5 pillars. What are the 5 pillars? That is pillar number 1, quant intuition. What is quant intuition? If you are calculating exact values, you are already losing because 10% equal to shift decimal, 5% half, and 1% base breakdown. This is taken by particular question. So here rule is if it takes more than 5 seconds, you are doing it wrong. This is the golden rule in the CSAT. The pillar number 2 here is the denominator habit. The denominator habit. Your first thought must be, what is the base here? Not value, not formula, base. In the average questions, in the percentage questions, in the ratio questions, particularly. You have to think about base, not value, not formula. After reading your question thoroughly, then we are moving to pillar number 3, that is sufficiency filter. What is sufficiency filter? Before solving the question, you have to ask yourself, is this even solvable? If variables is greater than equations, you have to stop. Answer it like cannot be determined. This is given in the recent 2025 question paper, run rate question. As far as base is concerned, petrol question, that is given in 2025 2025 CSAT question. The pillar number 4 is no solve zone. What is no solve zone? Some questions are not meant to be solved. They are meant to be recognized. Like examples, divisible by 9, like digit sums. The powers are leads to cyclicity. Then you have to identify the digits, unit digit calculations. These are recurring in recent years in the UPSC CSAT examination as far as quant is concerned. Here the golden rule is, if you start writing long steps, you missed the pattern. Why? Because you have to understand the question after reading the question. Then only you have to solve the question after understanding only. Otherwise, it will be miss the pattern. The most and final important pillar is instructional discipline. That is pillar number 5. What is instructional discipline? UPSC will change rules, symbols will change, logic will change, and your brain will panic. So in that time, in that instances, what you have to do is follow instructions, ignore habits, adapt instantly. This is what you have to do in the examination. CSAT is no longer math paper, it is a decision paper. And one more thing I have to, let me repeat it again, simplifying again. As far as DI paper is concerned, from 2014 to 2018, the 2025 totally, the classical era of 2014 to the decision era of 2025 has been changed. In 2014, UPSC wanted a calculator. They gave you massive table and five direct questions, but look at 2023 and 2024 and 25. The big table is dead. It has been replaced by micro data traps. Please focus here. I have to summing up because this is most important topic in the UPSC. UPSC is no longer testing your ability to multiply. They're testing your administrative instinct. Can you spot a lie in the data? Can you identify missing base? Do we have the courage to say this cannot be determined? If you spend the next 20 minutes with me, I will show you why your 14-year school of maths is currently your biggest liability. I'm going to show you to stop being student and start being an information architect. So this is all we are about listening and learning. We have discussed ghost variable that is cannot be determined. I already told you in the 2025 run rate paper, run rate question. So this is all the questions given in 2024 and 2025. So we have to do is base. What is the base? And inverse relationship and CSAT system and no solve zone, sufficiency filter, denominator habit, cyclicity. These are all comes under this DI. As far as DI is concerned, we have to remember three deadly traps and five pillars. We have to crack the 2026 examination. So these five pillars are going to save you in the examination. So CSAT data interpretation is no longer a math chapter. It is a decision system, data decision system. UPSC is not looking for the best mathematician. They are looking for the person who look, who look at a messy, incomplete, and contradictory file and decide if a conclusion is valid. So treat every question on that paper as a file on your desk. Is the data enough? Is the conclusion safe? When should you stop solving and start deciding? The 2026 CSAT will not be won by the person who solves the most. It will be won by the person who thinks the best rather than who solves the most. Thinking, thinking, thinking matters rather than solving. So stop practicing maths. Start practicing administration. At Metis IAS, we don't just teach you the shortcut. We teach you the system. Because once you master the system, the exam solves itself. That is what we learn at Metis IAS. Attempt today's CSAT test. This is one thing you have to do. No notes, no calculator, no guessing. Thank you.